Hello, my name is Simmer Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's get going. So today we are going to be building my first cottage home. I bought cottage living and I had decided that I wanted to do something kind of fun for the fall, and I decided to do this build here. I do have a reference image for this build, and this is the house that I was looking at right here. I am going to make some minor adjustments to it, but on the whole, this is what we are going to be working towards today. So as we quickly do this roof line here, I just want to say, how is it fall already? Like, I'm so glad it is, and I'm kind of over summer. There's been a massive heat wave here in California, so I am ready for this cool weather, so what a weather, if you will. But I am like, how is this possible? It's 2022 and it's October 2022. I feel like the year just started, and I have no idea where the time has gone. And how is it fall? How is this fall already? Is anybody else feeling like this, or is it just me? Am I the only person who feels like this year has flown by like a freaking freight train? But it's okay. I mean, I'm glad to have this year over. I feel like it's been a rough year. So, ready for 2022 to end with, Halloween and a really great Christmas, or whatever it is you celebrate. In my household, it is Christmas, and I'm ready to get this over with and ready to get into some cool weather. How about you guys? Speaking of heat waves, let's talk about The Sims 4 seasons real quick. First off, do you have seasons? Second, do you like seasons? Third, what is your favorite item in the seasons pack? Honestly, I think my favorite comes down to a tie. I would say it's either the little plant item that has the little two plants on it and like the little wooden structure thing, or the bed with the really low headboard and the comforter that looks just super cozy. I also really like the curtains from Seasons and that mirror with the main mirror and then like the three or four on the side. I think that item is great too. I use that mirror in a lot of my builds. But what about you? What are your favorite items from the pack? Do you like the pack? Do you regret buying the pack? I think it's probably one of my favorite just like everyday gameplay packs. It just kind of fits in everything, and it changes the way you play day to day. So I like that. It kind of adds a new little thing to your games every new day, right? But I will say, having a heat wave in The Sims really bugs me, and I don't know why, but it's probably just because it's like too real for me. Like, I have heat waves here in California, and it's not fun, and I don't want to deal with it. But, is what it is, and it's a real life thing, so I guess you gotta have it in The Sims if it's real. So here we're moving to our external gardening and landscaping and stuff. I love this blue brick on the exterior. This cottage living brick looks identical to the reference image, but also it's just kind of different. I don't think I'd ever... No, I can't say that because I definitely would do a navy house like this, but I think it's kind of a different color. Like, most people probably wouldn't use that. So seeing that in this pack kind of is interesting and exciting. Here we're going to do some of the landscaping in the front. I was trying to match that brick that leads up to our house. I didn't want to have it line up exactly, so I had to do a little something, and I think it turns out pretty cute, but I don't want to go through debug and try to find that gray, so I decided, screw it, we will fake it and just put plants there. And I don't hate it. I don't love it, but it kind of works because I over landscaped the crap out of this house anyway. So it just kind of fit it that there was more plants than there needed to be. There's actually so much landscaping footage that I probably should have either cut it out entirely or maybe sped it up to 8 times the speed instead of 4, because it takes up such a huge chunk of this video. It's a little ridiculous. So if you don't care for landscaping, feel free to skip some of this. There will be a lot of it. But I love this little feature back here. I love how it turned out. I don't necessarily love how the roof looks, but you know what, it is what it is. I love how the rest of it looks. But I didn't have a reference photo for this, so I decided to do something interesting back here, and of course I'm going to do something with a little bump out because I love that feature. So I decided to do that, and we took that color from the front that we used and put it back here on this back piece. I really don't like columns. I realized while doing this that they are the bane of my existence, I think, and I don't like them. I was really struggling because on that angled wall, the column wants to be on an angle, but if you don't have a wall there, then it'll sit straight. And I just wanted it to sit straight, and it would not sit straight for the life of me. So the bottom two are definitely sitting on an angle. But I think the plants covering it and the floor trim kind of hide it a little bit. So I think we just kind of have to bear it and not look at it too closely. But I really like how that turned out. The placement is perfect because you can get to that balcony up top through the hallway on the stair at the top of the stairs. And then we have the bump out in the little like nook area in the kitchen. I think that's really cute. And then that little bump out into our little side patio space there is from the kitchen. And I really like how that turns out. But here we're just going to do some more of the landscaping. We got a lot of repetition. I will say for entirely planning on having this be a fall-ish kind of home. I'm fairly certain I'm building it in the spring. I'm fairly certain that's when this save is right now. And there's a lot of like pink in here and it looks very springy. So I will admit that I do go back and change up some of the colors in these plants just to give it a different look so it's less spring and more fall, but I do leave a lot of the flowers just because I was not going to go back and change it. But it didn't occur to me till after the fact that this looks more like spring than fall because I was in my zone while I was just doing this. I was like, yeah, let's more plants, more plants, more plants. And it was too late when I realized that it's not super fall-like. So I do go back and do that. Same with the interior. I do add a little bit more decoration on the inside, but for the most part, it's basically the same. I will point out some of the changes in the little tour that we're going to do at the end of this video here. So in this little cluster of trees, I had no idea what I wanted to put over here. I just didn't want to leave it empty because like that's boring and we're going all out. So I end up using an item that's not even from this pack, from the Cottage Living pack. I end up using the wishing well and I don't even know what pack that's from. It just kind of fit as I was landscaping and I had that little curve spot and I thought, you know what? Sure, let's do it. So we added the wishing well. This is the first build I got to use that pack in. Was that maybe like romantic garden? I honestly have no idea. I bought so many packs at one time that all of the items ran together. It is romantic garden. So I have no idea what's from what pack, and I'm gonna really have to go back and study and figure out what's what. So I did end up cutting out some of the landscaping here. I did some of the landscaping and the terrain paint off camera. It was a lot, guys. It was a lot. And, you know, I'm just saying now, I went overboard on this build. I freely admit that. So it had to be done. It had to be done for time purposes, for, you know, entertainment purposes. You didn't want to see that. It took me a long time. So we're skipping forward here to this little back portion. Again, I love how this turned out. It looks so cute, I think. I really love how all of the plants look together. I loved using all this wisteria. I think it looks just so pretty. And it smells really good in real life, so I thought that might be fun. And all these new items and stuff, well, new to me, that's in Cottage Living, and all the stuff that grows up the house and all the cottages. I think that's just so cute. It gives it a very quaint and like old look, and I'm obsessed. I love it. But I really think all of that just adds such character, especially this little bump out, and it might have to be my favorite part of the house if I'm being honest with you. So after we finish this little section here, we're going to move to that little side yard. And over here, as you can see, I'm trying to get a barn in. And why are these things so freaking big? It was killing me. I wanted to get a couple more of the little like planter things in there. Couldn't do that. Couldn't get two of them in here. It was crazy. And then I wanted to divide them too. And I wanted to put a fence between them. And that was just not going to work. So after, you know, fighting with that, I just accepted it and made it smaller and moved inside because I'd spent way too much time outside already. So once again, I'm going to say I had the idea of doing a fall home in my mind, and I built this home, and for some reason all of the fall vibes just like left my body, and I was like spring. And I mean, I was thinking fall as I was furnishing this, but for some reason it was not coming out. So I did have this build on a back burner at the time I built this, and a couple of other YouTubers put out videos and they reminded me of items that we have in the game. So I do go back and add a couple of things, change out some colors. I think I'm going to chalk this up to it being I don't like the color orange, and it makes fall disappointing to me because orange sucks. And I am sorry if you have a different stance on orange, and you are free to have your opinion, but the color really bugs me and it just isn't like that cute. I dig the color in like the changing leaves, but for some reason in like decor it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. So we're going to chalk it up to me hating the color orange and just say it's not because I completely forgot what I wanted to do. So as you can see, we are gonna get a nice little fireplace in here. I felt like it suits a fall build like this, and like the house just kind of feels cozy and warm. So, you know, a fireplace is a must. So we get this fireplace in here. I'm gonna completely change the layout of this room real quick, skis on you. But I thought it was kind of like weird the way I was laying it out, and it was throwing me for a loop. And literally at this point, I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do. The color scheme isn't working. This doesn't look like fall because it didn't look like fall. And what was I thinking? But whatever, it's fine. So I was really struggling for like a hot minute, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was like, this sucks. Like, this is gonna be a low point if I can't get this fall build together. And but I think that goes to show that like perspective is really important, right? And changing your perspective and being willing to like change things up. And I think once I kind of changed up this little layout and decided to throw the fireplace on that other wall, I think I was like, oh, okay, this makes so much more sense. And even after doing that move, we're going to make another one, and we're going to move the TV in front of the window, which I don't think I would normally do in a build, but it just kind of seemed like it was the best place for it to go, because pushed over in this corner just seems odd, especially since the TV's already super small. So we are going to do that guy, we're going to move that over, and I think otherwise it looks pretty cute in here. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to double down on that and say it looks super cute in here, especially after we get the feature in I'm about to do. So the next thing we're going to do is a gallery wall, because your girl loves a good gallery wall. So after we get the bare minimum of fall decorations down, we are going to come over here to this wall and use these portraits to make a gallery wall. And I didn't realize how many different paintings were actually in here. I think I'd only ever seen the two guys that were in here. I know the little boy and the guy in the top hat. So I didn't even realize that there were more in here, and I was just kind of baffled. So I was like, we're going to use as many of these as possible. So I do end up trying to get in a bunch of those, and I found this cute little painting, and I think I ended up deleting it at the end. I'm kind of sad about it because it just kind of fit the space so well, but it gave very much spring vibes, and when I was going in and doing all our fall decorations, I was like, no, get rid of it. So it's gone now, but RIP the painting. Sorry, I'm not dramatic at all. Oh, goodness. So we're gonna eventually move that little table, and why don't any objects snap to the little mantle on that fireplace? It really drives me nuts. Okay, and watching this back, I think this is about the point where the decorations really went off the rails, and I totally gave in to the whatever theme I wanted and just kind of threw fall out the window. Because I was designing this room, and I really liked how this couch and this rug looked together and looked with this space. So I was just kind of like, let's find something that works. Fall isn't all the time, so we want to have a house that kind of like looks like it changes with the seasons. And I really ran with that in this room, and I regretted it, honestly. So let's just ignore the fact that this doesn't look fall-y and appreciate it for what it is. I love these new curtains from the Desert Luxe kit. I think they are perfect. Obviously, this is not a desert designed home, but I think it really fits almost every house, and I think that was kind of the point of the pack in general. So we're going to have those over this window and that cute little tiny little TV in front of the windows there, and I think that looks really cute. Quite cozy, even if not on the fall theme. So moving into here, we have the kitchen and the little nook space. In these like cottage homes, usually the kitchens are kind of small, and I don't really like to build small kitchens. So even though this is not super small, it was very difficult for me to kind of make room, but obviously there really isn't an option in this layout. It's just kind of like it has to be a galley kitchen. So even though there's not a whole lot of space and it's not the biggest kitchen, we do have a lot of counter space, I guess. So it could be much worse. You know what would make it even worse is if these counters and cabinets weren't so cute. Like they're super cute and all of the different like positions that you can switch through are all super different. So you really can make very different kitchen layouts and I think that that's really interesting. I wish that there were more. Well, maybe more isn't the word I'm looking for. Maybe just like different. Because if you use certain pieces, they are smaller than the normal filler. So you end up with gaps and they kind of clip oddly to each other. So I just kind of wish that either they were all the same size or they worked a little bit more predictably, I guess. But on the whole, I really like that feature in cabinets in general. I think the cottage living ones here are really different. So, you can do very varied looks. Very, very, but you can do different looks, you know what I'm saying? But in a lot of the other packs, they're not always as different. Like it's just kind of like a smaller one. So it doesn't look super, super different or unique. Like each piece is just kind of uniform. So you just saw me change the wallpaper. I spent a lot of time trying to get those gallery photos lined up with the original wallpaper, and I even had to take it out because it was just ridiculous to watch. And then I ended up completely changing the wallpaper and it was useless to do, but whatever, it is what it is. So here we're going to put in a cute little window in our kitchen, just some final touches here, and I love the farm sink that is on that swatch of the counter. I think it is so freaking cute, and the fact that it matches this counter, amazing. Sims, amazing. Like this is one of the things I love about The Sims, and like the attention to certain detail is phenomenal. Not all the time, but on occasion when they pay attention to the detail, they pay attention to it so well that it's just like mwah, chef's freaking kiss. Once again, as we go, you will see that this is not super fall-y. I do end up going back off camera and making some adjustments in this room to make it feel more fall, but it's okay. Just enjoy it for a cute little cottage build and know that when we go and do the tour, it will look more fallish. So I apologize, but I let builder designer Sky get a hold of me when I should have, stuck to the plan of fall. But I think this room looks super cute, and I got to use a lot of the different items from Cottage Living, so that was the point, and I feel like I achieved that goal quite well. I also really like how the room, like the space flows. I did do a little playtesting, but not a whole lot, so I hope the rest of the build works out as well as the areas I did test. So here we're going to be doing one of the bathrooms. As you can see, we already have one bathroom pretty much furnished. I'm just going to copy paste because that's what I do with bathrooms. Also, I kind of think I'm going to start a new series where I do builds from reference photos because that's basically all I do anyway. And I think I ought to call it copy paste because that's basically what I'm going to be doing is copying and pasting, but in The Sims. What do you think? On board? Stupid name? You would watch it? Great. Thanks. Let me know. But please don't take my title because it's the only original thing I could come up with. Thanks. And while we finish the bathroom here, I want to address the dog that's barking. It is not mine. If you can hear it in the background, I am not just letting my dog bark willy-nilly this time. It is my neighbor's dog. It never shuts up. It stays outside all of the time. And honestly, I kind of want to steal it. I know that that is illegal, but like they treat the dog terribly. I don't think it's ever gone in their house because every time I look over into their backyard, because I can see into their backyard, the dog is out there. And this dog is out there barking its little head off at like 2 a.m. all the time. And it starts at 2 a.m. and it ends at like 10 p.m. It's just a constant cycle of dog barking, basically. So I really think that, for the sanity of our neighborhood and for this poor sweet dog that obviously needs a better home, I think I should go take it. What do you guys think? Think it's a good idea? I think it's a great idea. For legal purposes, this is a joke, and I will not be doing that. But, we can dream. Of course, now that I have addressed and am talking about the dog, it stops barking. So while we may be able to enjoy this moment of solace and quiet, let's do this bedroom real quick. So this is the primary bedroom. It does have an ensuite. I don't love how this bedroom turned out, at least in this at this point. I ended up going back and making changes to this room as well. I do a lot off camera. I'm really sorry, but I wasn't loving how this build turned out. And after looking at other people's builds, I started to doubt myself and my skills. So I didn't want to do anything else. And then when I look back at it to edit this film and just to go back over the house, I did make a couple of little edits and little changes, but most of it's just kind of like color of swatches or putting down more leaves. But my issue in doing this room was I really wanted to use this rug, and it's super cute, and I do end up using it and keeping it there. But the colors, there were just so many different colors I could choose from, and there really wasn't a whole lot of like furniture pieces that actually fit those colors and then like looked good together. It just kind of was overwhelming. So I got that bed in there, and that canary yellow was just like too much for me. So I do end up swapping it out for a different swatch of that bed. I really wanted to use that bed frame because it is the cottage living bed, and that's my goal, is to use all the cottage living stuff in this house. So I end up switching it out and going with the red swatch. I did look at that at some point, but I didn't like how the red swatch looked with the wall color I ended up picking, so I just kind of scratched that. But then when I went back to make edits, I changed the wall color, so we went back to the red. So again, I apologize for making so many changes in this house. It was not going well, and I was really comparing myself to other Sims builders, and I should not do that because we're all different and have our own little special style, and I'm still learning and still working on, all the different skills and tools and stuff like that. So, just gotta keep a positive mentality and positive frame of mind, when you're doing stuff. And looking back at this right now, I don't hate how that canary yellow looks with that more pink swatch. And this lighter pink is cute. It's not doing it for me. It's not the moves. So we end up going with a more like tan, almost like light salmon color maybe, and it's a color that's in that rug, and then with that red bed. Otherwise, we really don't make any other changes to that room. And now we are into the ensuite for that bathroom. Keeping with the floral colors, I wanted to add a little bit of pop in this room. Obviously, it's mostly tans, but I thought, hey, we could bring in like a little pink or something like that. So I think that rug kind of fits well in here. And then, of course, we end up getting a little plant because I love the Blooming Rooms kit and I love plants. They are my favorite freaking thing. I don't know why I bothered going to law school. I should have become a botanist. If I'd known when I was in college that I would get into plants, I definitely would have done that. But, I digress. Now that we are moving into this next room, I kind of wish I had put two beds in here and made it like a room for two kids. I don't know why I didn't think to do that before. It is probably because I'm an only child and I forget that like siblings sometimes share rooms. But I also think I forget to do that because when I build, I usually build like big ass houses, so every person has their own room. So I'm just not used to like sharing a room, and I'm not used to that kind of gameplay. So maybe in the future I will try to incorporate that kind of situation, kind of bedroom situation into my builds. So this is going to be the last room that we do before I take you through a fun little tour of the house. As you can see, I really stuck with that like darker brown tone throughout most of the house. I really thought that it complemented the flooring, but I also thought it was kind of true to like this style. I feel like most of the times when I'm seeing cottage styles, the tones of wood are usually darker. They just feel more cozy and like homey, I guess you could say. Whereas lighter woods feel just brighter, lighter, cleaner, more sterile almost. So I really liked using this like darker brown swatch. I don't usually do that. I don't usually gravitate towards these darker colors. So it was interesting to add that and just like consciously gravitate towards those pieces. So I love the Desert Luxe kit. It is amazing. I am probably a little biased because we got it for free, but that glitch where the rod glitches to the window or attaches to the window instead of the top of the window really just drives me nuts. And it's an easy fix, so I mean it is what it is, but it's so frustrating, and I feel like you really can't escape just dreaded curtains because they are dreaded, and you really can't get away from the fact that curtains and placing curtains are a pain in the booty. So we're going to quickly switch over to the live. I hope you enjoy this last little bit, and here we go. All right, so we are in game here. I'm just going to point out a couple things that noticeable changes that I made here. So we changed the umbrella to the orange. We added a couple more pumpkins in here, changed some of the flowers to yellow instead of the pink, just to give it a kind of more, I guess more fall-y look, even though it's usually yellow and oranges and reds. So we did do that, little changes here and there, nothing major, just little tweaks. So let's go inside, shall we? So moving into this front door here, we have our cute little entryway, still just one little set of plants or a little set of candles there, but we added that cute little decoration piece there, added little changes to the front. Got that rug, it's in large, so it looks a little silly, but you know, it is what it is. And then we've got that eco lifestyle little decoratory piece there with the leaves. Moving into the living space, it's still super cute. Not totally fall-y, but I really wanted to use a lot of the cottage living pieces, and I still like how it turned out. So we've got the cute little like gourds and stuff on the table here. Got a couple cards, some more of the fall decorations, and more, oh my goodness, and more of the little like banners. So I think that that's super cute, and I really like this wallpaper. Love this little gallery wall. Okay, this is gonna drive me nuts. So we're just gonna fix this so it's not clipping. Out of all of the times I had to fix it, I didn't want to do it on camera like this, but you know, here we are. So moving now into our kitchen, I added these little orange curtains, just gotta give it a little bit of a pop, and it kind of plays on this little table, some of the colors in there. We added a nice little orange ruggy, we changed that guy out, and we got a cute little wreath. I love this farm table. This is amazing, or this farm sink, freaking adorable. Moving into this little bathroom here, we added some little pops of orange throughout to give it that more fall look, but otherwise it's basically the same as from our video. So now let's go into our upstairs, and let's see, basically all of the changes I made up here are in this room and this room alone. So I changed out the beds, now we have a red instead of that lovely canary yellow, and this wall is our like light salmon tone. It looks more warm, and that's more like the fall look. So it is what it is. If you liked it better the other way, or you want to make changes, feel free to make changes. And you know what, while we're here, I'm not going to make any more changes. I'm not going to add any more things to this build, but here's a little kid space, super cute little hallway, very nice. So you walk up the stairs, you have the bathroom there at the top of the stairs and the little door out, and let's go through that little door, shall we? Oh, how cute. We've got the nice little like garden space out here, you can see, to the little wishing well. We got the wild bunny thing and something else. Off to the other side, we then have our outdoor space. So actually, why don't we take a look at that real quick? Again, this back just is so cute. I love how that turned out. And over here we have our little backyard. I cannot believe this takes up so much room, but it's okay. I like it anyway. And wouldn't be a complete little like ranch cottage space without Patchy. Gotta love little Patchy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you look up the Fall Vibes house, the Fall Vibes Cottage, to be exact, on the gallery. And I'm sending you all the positive vibes, and happy simming!